Good afternoon and welcome to Laurel Park. Today, this is Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. I'm your host Ty Ellis, filling in for Stan Salter. To my left, Tim Tulloch, my co-host. Tim, how you doing?
Yeah, doing great. A little bit of rain here today, but we still got a lot of great action on tap for today, and so a few nice races, including a nice allowance race later for 3-year-old fillies that I'm really excited about.
We do have a nice card on tap. We are off the turf today. It's raining pretty heavily here at the track, but let's talk about yesterday's races. I think we got our own possibly Ortiz brothers here with the Hamiltons. They won 6 of 11. Wesley, the apprentice, won 4 of them, and the father, Stevie, won 2.
Yeah, they both rode lights out yesterday, and Weston Hamilton rode a couple winners for Dale Capuano, both horses first time on the turf, sprinting, one a first-time starter. It was a great day for the Hamilton family, and then some really nice races all day yesterday. It was an exciting day, and we're going to do it again here today. Despite the weather, we're going to do it again because it's a rainy day at the races is better than any day anywhere else.
I'll agree with you on that. Now, we are less than, about a week out from the Belmont Stakes, which justifies going for the Triple Crown bid. I think he's a good horse, and, obviously he's a good horse. And we got some special post times here at the track. We got our first post is going to be 12:35. Belmont, the Belmont Stakes going off at 6:46. They got a really good card up there. We will be simulcasting everything here from the track. We are giving away a T-shirt for everybody that purchases a program here at the track. It's a heck of a deal. Our live program is going to have us and Belmont in it, so that's $5, and you get a Justified T-shirt. That's going to be a collector's edition if he ends up winning on Saturday. We are having a special buffet, $45 from 1 to 5. Where else can you eat for $45 for 4 hours? That's lunch and dinner. Reservations are, I know we're filling up really quick, so if you guys want to make a reservation, you need to get it in. Call 301-725-0770.
Yeah, and it'll be a busy day here, and you'll want to get that Justified T-shirt because I think the hardest race was behind him in the Preakness Stakes. I think the Belmont's going to suit him just perfectly. He's got that high cruising speed. I think he can get it done.
Absolutely, and his trainer, Bob Baffert, knows how to get the horses to go 1.5 miles. He did that with American Pharaoh a couple years ago, snapping the Triple Crown streak, the long drought.
Long drought.
long drought, and Justify, he seems to be a special horse. So we'll take a look at that next Saturday. We'll have a lot of insight coming in the weeks leading up, but most important is today's races here at the track. We do have a Sunday brunch here, $27 up in the Garden Terrace. I could smell it on my way out here. We do have an $18 bottomless Bloody Mary or Mimosas edition. That's going to be that makes for an extra Sunday fun day.
Yeah, so you can smell the food. I could taste the bottomless mimosas and Bloody Mary. So you eat and I'll drink. No, I won't. I really won't. But
after
the
races
today.
And, hopefully. We do have a small carryover in the Pick Six, so hopefully one of us will be playing it, or hopefully we can give some good tips to somebody that cashes it, and maybe they'll buy us a couple drinks afterwards, Tim. But we do have that $2,347 carryover. That's races 5 through 10. It's going to be a good sequence. Again, we are off the turf. It was a tough sequence to figure out yesterday. Paid out 4 of 6. We had those big fields yesterday. We had a couple scratches this morning, so not going to be as full, but it's always a good betting card. We got super high fives. The Pick Six, we had that carryover, and let's show the weather here. It is rainy and a little cool, breezy. You can see the track there. The tractor's going on the outside. The track has been playing really quick, Tim.
Yeah, it's been playing quick, but it will be in good shape today. It's sloppy, and a lot of horses appreciate the sloppy racetrack. It holds them up. It's got a good firm bottom to it, and it shouldn't be a problem whatsoever.
First post is set for 110, so let's dig in, I guess. So first race on the day, it is a maiden claiming. We do not have a super high 5. We're scratching in here. Let's go through. We're scratching the 1A, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 8, and 11. That leaves us with 6 horses. So we won't be offering the super high 5.
But this does start the early pick 5, and I have a ticket for that, fellas. If we'll run through my early pick 5 ticket, an $18 ticket. In the first race, I use 2 horses, the 1 and the 6. The second race, I go 3 deep, using the 1, 6, 7. Third race, 2, 4, 6. The fourth race, there's my single on the 8, chalk them out. And the fifth race, that nice allowance race I was talking about, I use the 2 Zorley and the 4 Deep Red. That should be a great race. Those 2 fillies they should be put on a show for us, and a couple other good ones also. So $18 ticket, early pick 5. Good luck if you play along.
I'll be interesting to hear your analysis on Chalk 'em Out while you're singling in there. I think that is a very good good ticket. 12% takeout. So you hit that, you're getting more money back in the pocket. Let's dig into this first race a little bit more. I did mention it's maiden 16 off the turf, so we're going 1 mile. It was originally scheduled 2 turns in a mile and a 16th. When that comes off, we do the 1-turn mile. Went through the scratches already. Let's take a look. My top pick and your top pick, we're both on the 6. Charming Morty, who is an MTO. I like the race 2 back, even though he was second, beaten 15. Fiery Opal is a good horse, came back, ran well, and then last time at the maiden 16 at this level was actually at the lead at the 8th pole and just gave up to finish 3rd. Take a little bit of a break. Claudio Gonzalez is good off of breaks, and I think Charming Morning is going to be tough in here.
Yeah, I think he'll be tough also. He comes in here with a series of good works. He hasn't raced since December 17th of this past year. Ran a big race that day. Bilko comes out of that race and wins. He's been working well, as I mentioned. Yomar Torres and Claudio Gonzalez, they hook up at 24%. And Claudio's been a little quiet over Pimlico in the early stages of this Laurel meet, but that won't last long. Claudio will get back on fire, and today in the first is where it may begin.
One of the top barns that we have at the circuit here in Maryland, Claudio Gonzalez always sends out some fire, some good horses. Let's take a look at the 10 horse. We both like Glenn's Capper. Hasn't done much in his past races, but those have always been a little bit higher than he's dropping significantly in here for 16. Has flashed some speed before, and I think the drop is gonna help the horse significantly.
Well, he certainly gets some class relief in here, dropping down to the 16. He last raced for 25, the main 25 at Penn. This will be second off a layoff. But this horse has the back races. If you go back to just a year ago this spring at Gulfstream Park, he was running some nice races, only getting beat a length and a half, and running some good, strong numbers. If he can run back to that, it shouldn't be a problem. He's by-etched out of a Proud Accolade mare, should be able to handle the going today, and you might even like it even better. You're getting the red-hot Wes Hamilton, so there's a lot to like there, and I like Glenn Caber. He's 6-1 on the morning line.
Wes Hamilton, as we mentioned, had 4 wins yesterday, so definitely has a hot hand. I did want to touch on the 1 Day of Reckoning also. We both had the horse rounding out our trifecta. A good second on a muddy sealed track last time at Pimlico on the 28th of May. Finished second, well ahead of the rest of the field, was 9. The rest of the field, I could see this horse sending, has a lot of speed from the inside.
Yeah, it was a lot of speed from the inside, and it was a short field that day. Only 4 horses. Whiskey Woo won the race. Didn't run a particularly great number that day, but he does have 2 seconds from 2 starts on an off track. So you have to always take that into consideration.
And we're going to have we're having a sloppy, deep. It just depends on how deep the track is. We'll have to watch that going forward. Let's turn it to the second race. This does kick off the early pick 4. We don't have a ticket in here, but it's a good sequence. We don't have any scratches in here, and this is where our super high 5, we're rolling that. We're a super high 5 for any race 7 or more with a minimum of 7 betting interests. This is a 15% takeout. I know Stan always talks about this gets hit really hard when we have on the main track with 7, 8 horses. They like to hit it really hard, and we had a huge carryover. Well, a couple races carried over yesterday, so if this thing rolls over a couple times, this could start it off. It can be a really good bet. So
it sure could.
Yep.
Sure
so
could.
the second race, it is claiming 75 non-winners of a year for 3-year-olds, which should not want to race since December 16th. It's a mile and a 16th, so 2 turns. We're going to go with the 2, Danny My Boy. That's my top pick. And here you have him 4th in there. Karamanos is aboard. Really hasn't done much since last year. I mean, April of last year was the last time this horse ran well in the Annette Eubanks barn. Has kind of came 2 off a layoff. I'm hoping this horse is going to wake up 3rd time off a long layoff. But in the Annette Eubanks barn before, this horse has run really well. Won 6 out of the 7 times this horse has been in the barn before the 2 races passed. I'm hoping you can just kind of draw a line through this. Has back numbers, back class. I think, Danny, my boy, you're going to get a fair price at the horse, 9-2 on the morning line. And I think you're going to get somewhere around that 5-4-1 range in the horse.
Yeah, and we have a little video from him from last year when he was in really, really good form. This is Danny My Boy last year, and he was in excellent form. There's no question about his form from last year. He's also 2 for 2 on off tracks. The question just simply is, has he lost his mojo? He's run 2 races back since that layoff. He's been beaten double digits both times, and he takes a little bit of a drop today, and maybe that's enough to help, and he absolutely loves that off track. He's run some big numbers of 76, his lifetime best on and off track, so that might be enough to pick up his head, but I think something's going to have to pick up his head. I'm just afraid he might have lost a little bit of his mojo. There's no question he was in good form. He was firing some big races and some big numbers, but I took a stand against him, just thinking that maybe he's not quite the horse he was last year.
You went with the Claudio Gonzalez trained 7 Max Crown, who finished second last 2 back in a claiming 15. Though this is a big drop in class for the horse from the last.
He gets a big class relief here, and the 2 races back were certainly good enough to get it done here. He's very, very good on and off track. He comes into this race with a few good works, and the race before last, he ran a big number, 75 speed figure, while running second to the very, very good Top Prospect, who just ran third the other day, but at that time, Top Prospect was in excellent form. So I like Max Crown today. Claudio Gonzalez, 27% with this type of layoff, 30 to 60 days. I think there's a lot to like. I also want to mention the 6, I'm Mr. Blue. This is a horse who's a very nice horse. He just is, talking about horses that lost their mojo. Here's I'm Mr. Blue. He has certainly lost his mojo, but he's getting in. He's getting dramatic class relief here today. He is good on and off track. Dale Capuano is looking to win a race, and he very well might here today without Mr. Blue.
Yeah, the connections have really protected I'm Mr. Blue since they've had him for the last 10 or so starts, finally putting him back in a claiming race, probably where this horse belongs. So I think I'm Mr. Blue could be a definite contender, especially late, has that late speed coming in. So that's the second race. I'm on the 2, Tim's on the 7. We'll turn the page here to the 3rd, which is a claiming 5,000s, non-winners of 4 lifetime. And my top pick and Tim's top pick is going to be the 4-horse Runaway Bull. Vernon Allison trains. Daniel Centeno, who's also got a hot hand on the meet. We're scratching a couple horses in here, which is, I think, a big. The 1, How's Your Sugar? 3, Proper Freud, who is going to take a lot of money in here. The 5, Drive at Night, are also scratches. And the 4, Runaway Bull is coming up from Florida. Gulfstream Park has been running an open 62.5, so I think this is a bit of a class relief also for Runaway Bull in here. Has a little bit of tactical speed, isn't going to be right on the front. With the scratches, I think probably the 2, Photogenic's going to go to the front, but the 4, Runaway Bull's probably going to sit on it with that little drop in class, a little bit easier horses in here. I think Runaway Bull's going to be a top contender.
I think so too, and he's been running exclusively in Florida, as you mentioned, and he hasn't been having the greatest of results, but he's been running good, solid numbers, and his numbers are certainly good enough to get it done here. He's run on an off track 3 times in his life, and he's only run third once in those 3 starts, but that was a big race last August at Gulfstream Park, and he fired a 63 speed figure that day. I think he's going to mostly appreciate getting into this cool air that we have here today. It is a little chilly out here. He's been running in that hot, humid southern Florida weather. He's going to let that cool air hit his lungs, and I think he's going to be very, very tough. And I still think by Macho Uno out of Forest Wildcat Mare, he will skip over this.
Take warning, the 8-horse on the outside is second time in the Gerald Burns barn. And horse finished 5th, only beaten 2 last time. In a 15, dropping in for 5, I think could be dangerous from the outside.
Oh, absolutely. And this horse has run twice on and off track with 2 seconds, has been running good enough numbers, and gets class relief here. Broke his maiden for 25,000 way back when. It was claimed for 11,000 2 starts back. Awful win. Comes back in for 15, no good. Gerald Brooks not wasting any time. Let's try to get a win. Let's get this horse's confidence back up. He only got beat 2 lengths for the 15,000 last time. In for the nickel today. Take a warning, could be very tough.
The 4th race was originally scheduled on the turf. It was a 16 non-winners at 2. It's coming off. We're going 1 mile on the main track. We scratch the 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, and 13. My top pick in here is going to be the 6-horse City Gold Ferris Allen. This horse, I go back to the May 25th of 2017. I really had to dig in here, but caught an off track that day, finished good second in a starter allowance race. I think if this horse runs back to that race, could be dangerous. Been running in turf races, but has a little bit of back class on the main track. Ran that hurdle race last time. Definitely tossed that race out completely. I think this could be a wide open race, but you actually singled in your pick 5 the 8-horse.
Yeah, I did single the 8-horse in this race. And as far as City Gold goes, you know, he's coming out of that jump race and yes, you can toss that race. But it's been a while since he's run a really, really good race on the main track. You have to go far back, and we're just Ferris is having a rough meet. That's just the only thing you can say. He's hitting at 8% on the year. I took a pass. But Chalkamount's interesting. Run twice on and off track, has a decent third, but he's been running good, solid numbers on the main track, and he comes in here with a very, very sharp work, 3/8 of a mile and 35 and 1. You have to go far back, back to March 30th of this year, and you see a nice race on a track rated good. Ran a 57 speed figure that day. That's going to be good enough for this group. Go back even farther, you see some other nice races. So I like Chalkamount. I took a stab at this. I wanted to single somebody. This is a horse I singled with by Jumpstart out of a Grand Slam mare. Should be able to handle the offgoing. Has run third on it once and ran a decent enough number in a 57.
Yeah, the horse definitely is going to show some speed, and sometimes with a track as sloppy as this, it's the horse that's the cleanest at the end that ends up taking it.
Yeah, it's like NASCAR. Clean air sometimes is the best place to be.
All right, so we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back in just a bit.
In the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Either way, you win. Have a stake in the race with ExpressBet.
All right, we'll just pick it up a little bit.
Welcome back to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. We just talked about the first 4 races. Let's talk about the 5th race, which kicks off our pick 6. We do have that nice little carryover. It's a $2,347 carryover. It's a good sequence in here. I think it's very hittable today, but with the scratches, we might have multiple tickets in here. Let's kick it off. I think a lot of people are going to actually single on this too. There's a rally in here. Let's take a look. We have a video for... We have a video from the 518 race in here. This horse has a white shadow roll. You see it, the quarter pole is second here to a nice Sour. The 3 horse is a nice-looking horse, Sour, who's going to end up eventually winning this horse. But the 4, Zorali's a little green in here, trying to shift out a little bit on the wrong lead. Ducks into the inside, is gaining on the rail, which really isn't the place to be that day when the track was so wet and sloppy. Was game. Finished second by a length, about a length 3/4 of a length, and I think the horse should improve. Knows he can run on the slop. I think with a little bit of freshening up and a little bit of more schooling, Dale Capuano, Weston Hamilton's going to get this horse right.
I thought that was a pretty nice race running behind Sour, and her first time out was a huge race. She won by 7 lengths. But I think you're right. She was a little green there, and that's the first time she was on the slop. It comes back on you a little differently. She went down to the inside, changed her lead late, as you pointed out, but once she changed her lead, she started to gain on her. I think Zora Lee could be very, very tough today. Weston Hamilton and Dale Capuano hooked up for a couple today, and I like Zora Lee a lot. But it's not going to be easy because the 4 Deep Red is no pushover.
Deep Red, trainer Damon Dilladovico, who had his picture taken a couple times yesterday, looks to stay red hot. Stevie Hamilton, we could have a family rivalry is riding on here, the 2 favorites. Definitely, this horse has been in non-restricted stakes races and have run respectably well. Actually won at this first level allowance before. This is a restricted level allowance, so a bit of a class drop. Ran second at the same level last time. Deep Red's definitely a player.
Deep Red is a big player here, and if you throw out that October 17th race, you'll see that Deep Red's never run a bad race. Simply hasn't. Is there every single time. Tries hard, gets a little class relief here. Damon Dilladovico hits at 26% in his allowance races. That's a huge number. Comes in here with a big work, 3/8 of a mile on May 24th in 36 and change.
I got Pearl Gem rounding out my exacta, and I think this horse is probably the most to improve in the race. Ran a good in that waiver maiden 40 the first race, won by 2 with Katie Davis aboard. Last time really got steadied hard on the backstretch. That was a race where limited view, if you remember, broke really slow in the Maryland Million Lassie and then came swooping everybody. Yep. But this horse, I went back, I watched the replay, really got steadied hard on the rail, had to shuffle back towards and still made a pretty big run at the end. So I think the 5 Pearl Gem could be a surprise horse. 6-1 on the morning line. Probably not going to get that, but I think Pearl Gem could definitely be a player.
I like Pearl Gem. In fact, I had her picked on top in that Maryland Million Lassie, and she just needs to get a clean trip. She's trouble in both her starts. This is clearly a talented filly. I just think she's hooked 2 tough ones in Zorley and Deep Red, and she's going to have to be really, really good to beat those 2 off this layoff.
The 6th race is a starter allowance, 7,500 off the turf, originally scheduled 5.5, going 5.5 on the main track. And both of our top picks in here is going to be the 3 Iredell. I think this horse is going to be really tough to beat. Pick five starts. I think a lot of people are going to key in here. Maybe the pick 6 if they're going to try to beat Zorali in the next race. Might key on Iredell. But this horse is just ultra consistent. Runs on slop, can run on fast, can run short. So I think this horse is going to be tough to beat.
Iredell simply stands over the field. There's no question about that, especially on off tracks. 3 for 6 with a second and a third on off tracks. Comes in off a Pimlico win where he ran an 81 speed figure. No one even comes close to that. Shows 80s up and down his form. It's going to be very, very tough to beat Iredell and Daniel Santino, Jamie Ness
and
today.
We're both in agreement if Iredell can be beat, possibly the 12 Midnight Punk. Donald White's the trainer. Fergal Lynch, who you touted, we had a great ride yesterday. That was on the turf. You said might have been one of the better rides you've seen all year. So definitely in capable hands. Ran a good second at the starter allowance last time up at Pimlico in the slop. So definitely likes the slop. The 12 Midnight Punk.
Yeah, Midnight Punk is to me is the only danger to Iredell at all. Gets Fergal Lynch. He returns one on him. Was second to him behind adversary in the mud last time at Pimlico. But I think Iredell is going to be very tough. But this horse could give a little bit of a run to it. Of course, coming in good form and 1 for 2 with the second on the slop.
All right, the 7th race. That's it for the 6th. The 7th race kicks off the late pick 4. I do have a ticket in here. And I try to get a little cute in here. I think we're both on the 10, but I think I'm trying to beat Amapola. Going to take a ton of money in here. I went 4 deep in here. I'm trying to beat what's going to be odds on most likely Amapola. I went 4 deep with the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 10. And then the next race I went with the entry, the 1 and the 1A, 2, 3, 7. Try to get a price in there, and then I'm going to single in the 9th race. I'm going to take my stand. I'm going to single with Ghoul's Night Out. Has been running really well for Hammy Smith with a couple scratches. Can run on the main track. Definitely has potential to cash there. And then the 10th race, there's 5 horses in there. I took 4 of the 5. It's a $32 ticket, and good luck. I hope that it cashes there. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the 7th race. This is a maiden 40. We're just really on the turf. On the main track, going 5.5, and let's take a look at Amapola. This horse has actually won at this maiden level, but was disqualified way back in the first race. We got a video right here. Magical is the 6 horse, Amapola, who was 3 to 5 on this day. The only thing that really concerns me about this horse, you can see the horses on the inside. When he gets eye to eye, when she gets eye to eye with another horse, really tends to give in. You look at that the Tampa race. I know it was on the turf. Really hung, really bad. So the horse tends to, when she gets in a dog fight, might give in a little bit. You see that with the younger fillies. But I think Amapola is going to be tough to beat in here.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to be an issue for today because I don't think anyone's going to get eye to eye to her. I think she'll skip over this sloppy racetrack. She's never been on the slop by Broken Vow out of a Dixie Union mare. Everything says she will get over it and even like it. She's never run a really bad race at all. She's been running strong numbers. I think she's going to be very, very tough under Georgie Vargas.
The 5 Reality Queen, Flint Stites, trains Weston Hamilton aboard. We see that name again, finished second. Maiden on Black Eyed Susan Day, which tends to get a little bit better barns and some good quality horses in there. Finished 5th. The Dorothy Vaughn in there. Good race. Could contend. You like the horse at all?
I like her a little bit. I used her on my ticket. It was a big race at Pimlico last time and a decent race here at Laurel the time before. And, this filly was running some nice races last year in Kentucky Downs and Belmont on the turf. But again, Pioneer the Nile out of a pulpit mare, that's good enough on an off track, and it might be enough for to get it done for her. She's run on off track once and had a second.
And really quick, I want to touch base on the 7, Unique Humor, first timer out of Jimmy Creed. Probably going to show some speed.
Yeah, show some speed. Noah Aberson won with a long layoff horse yesterday, so he's capable with these horses. First-time starters are long layoff horses. This horse comes in here with some nice works, including a bullet, 5/8 of a mile at Pimlico, a minute flat just last week. So this horse could be really, really ready as long as he gets away from the gate. That's always the big thing.
The 8th race is a 5,000 beaten claimers for horses that have never won 3 lifetime. We're going to go with the 7 on top. I'm going with the 7 on top. Witchy's Last Stand. I know this is a 15-1 on the morning line. So if this horse can get home, is going to cash huge. This race was basically an all for me. I didn't really have a strong feeling in this race, so I took one of the larger stands in my pick 4. I did go 4 deep in here. This horse is dropping, has been running in $10,000, $11,000 claimers, but that was restricted for 3-year-olds, so that kind of falls in line with 5,000. But I think the horse has run decent in the past. Jonathan Maldonado is more than a capable trainer, and Cintron is a good jockey. So I threw the 7 on top, but I think it's a wide open race.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so wide open, but I'll agree with you. It's just certainly Witchy's Last Stand's getting some class relief here. Just toss that last race out on the turf. Ran behind Concasia against older fillies. That wasn't going to work. Against older fillies today, but at a much lower level, and it's probably going to be a much better spot for her. I didn't use her. I understand why you did. Been on an off track 3 times in her life and does show the win, so that might be enough.
Double Knot Spies probably going to take all the money in here. The 3-horse Richie Silliman. You got the horse on top.
Yeah, this is just an honest 3-year-old. She's 3 for 4 in her life. She's 3 for 3, going 5.5 furlongs. Whoop! That's what we go today. 5.5 furlongs. By Mission Impassable, should get across the off track. Been running some strong numbers. Has a nice work since the last race, May 22nd, 49 and change right here at Laurel. Kevin Gomez rides. I think there's a lot to like there, and I think Double Knot Spy can get the job done again.
The 9th race is a first-level allowance, was originally scheduled for on the turf. We're off. We're going to 1-turn mile here, and my single in my pick 4 sequence, Ghoul's Night Out. This horse is an honest horse. Might like to hang a little bit. His case of the second-itis the last 3 times, last 3 races. Those were all in restricted allowance, and the race 3 back was open first-level allowance. Finished second, and I think with the scratches and off the turf, I think the Ghoul's Night Out fits perfectly. Wesson Hamilton is live with a bunch of horses again. Hammy Smith is a trainer in here, and Ghoul's Night Out is going to be, in my opinion, the horse to beat.
And I agree. I have Ghoul's Night Out on top also, and she's done nothing nothing wrong on the dirt. She has good, solid races with good, solid numbers, and I think she might even be a little bit better on the dirt than she is on the turf. Now, she's only run on the turf that one time and had a good result, but her dirt races are plenty good enough, including a nice race going 7/8 of a mile on and off track right here at Laurel Park, where she got beat ahead to the very, very good Conjecture. So I think Ghoul's Night Out can be very, very tough under the red-hot Weston Hamilton.
Bad Nana, the 8-horse, I think we both agree is a very interesting horse. Has been going 2 turns. Now with the off the turf, you're getting back to the 1 turn. Last time this horse went 1 mile on a sloppy track, won by 7 lengths. That was a much easier class level, but I think this horse is definitely going to be a contender, and you're going to get a price at the horse.
Well, Hugh McMahon and Fergal Lynch, they hook up at 24% here at Laurel, 27% overall. They're a good combination. They won a race yesterday, and I agree with you. Bad Nana could be very, very tough and could be the sleeper in here to upset Ghoul's Night Out. And I don't even know if it's going to be much of a sleeper. She could even go off as favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
1 for 3 with a third on and off track. There's plenty to like there. Lynch is good. McMahon is good. Enough to like.
Let's talk a little bit about our third pick, Data Damsel, who was entered for the main track. Got a good one second out last time. Was took a little bit of money. Mary Epler, Jomar Torres. I think this horse could also take some money in here.
Well, Mary Epler's very good second off a layoff. Very good, clearly first off a layoff. That horse, Data Damsel, won first time off the layoff, but second time she hits at 18%. So you have to take that in consideration. That was a big race off the layoff. Got the job done by a head. Ran a decent enough number in a 58. We both used her, both in our trifecta, and it's Mary Epler. She's hitting at 20% on the year. You've got to respect everything Mary Epler sends over here.
The last race of the day, the 10th and final. It's a maiden 40 off the turf, going 5.5 on the main track. And I thought this was a really interesting race. I went 4 deep in here, and I'm
In
going
what way?
What's that?
In what way? Interesting.
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 Sonic Boom Jet is. I think it could go any. I think any of the horses really in here. I can make a case for any horse in here. Sonic Boom Jet, drop in from maiden specials into this waiver maiden claiming race. Claudio Gonzalez, first time in his barn. Yomar Torres again. Drop in wasn't that impressive in the main races, but the drop in here is a big drop. But so I'm going to go with the 9 Sonic Boom Jet on top.
No, I like Sonic Boom Jet also. She's in my exacta, working very well here for Claudio Gonzalez, coming off this little bit of layoff. First time in Claudio Gonzalez barn, you win 30% of the time. That's a big number. I talk about numbers a lot, but when you got a guy who you can count on winning 30% of the time with this type of horse, you got to give it a lot of consideration, and you did, I did, and Sonic Boom Jet could be right there.
Your top pick, me, Darlin, Kara, King Leatherberry Barn, turf to has run on the main track before, finished 4th and 3rd in maiden 25s.
Yeah, and that race last September in the maiden 25 got beat 2 lengths, ran a good solid number on a fast track here at Laurel. But she's my great notion out of an in-case mare. Should be able to get across this sloppy track without an issue. Never been on the slot before. Gets one of our best gate riders in Rosario Montanez aboard. I think there's plenty to like. Me, Darlin Kara, 3-1 on the morning line. She's probably going to take a little bit of money, so we'll see how we go.
Absolutely. So that's it. That's the 10-race card here at Laurel Park on a Sunday. We are sloppy and off. We do have that nice little pick 6 carryover of $2,347. A reminder to everybody, we do have that $27 buffet. Smells good. Go grab something to eat. Handicap. Put your handicap in. Cap on and look for some sloppy winners.
Yeah, you can go upstairs, have yourself a couple of cocktails, have some breakfast, stay out of the rain, enjoy the racing. We've got a good card of racing today, and have a little fun with us at Laurel Park.
Me and Tim will be with you all day. Pretty soon we'll be coming up. Dave Rodman with Scratches and Changes.